Hi everyone, so today I'm finally going to be filming a new video. As you hopefully saw in the description of my last video, I broke my phone while fainting a couple weeks ago, and so because of that I wasn't able to film for quite a while. So if I look extremely uncomfortable, it is because I am. Suddenly I forgot how to film again, so that's great. Also just gonna point this out now because I know maybe some people will point it out in the comments. My eczema is acting up again. In case you don't know what eczema is, it's like a skin condition. It's acting up again and it's on my face. So yeah, the face mask can't cover everything. It's also like on my eyelids. So yeah, if my face looks a bit red or swollen in some places, yes, that's because of the eczema. I didn't want to film because of it, but then I thought, well, it's probably not going to go away for quite a while, considering that whenever I get like a flare-up of my eczema, it usually lasts like 2 months, and I would rather not abandon this channel for 2 months. I've already abandoned it for a month because of my phone. I would rather not abandon it more. So today's video is going to be my Autistic Booktuber tag, which I made myself. I made it a couple months ago, before I even made my first video, because I knew I wanted to do this. And it's basically a tag for Autistic Booktubers, as the title of it says. As you probably saw in my first YouTube video, which was my Booktube newbie tag, I mentioned that I'm autistic, and yeah, I just wanted to make a bunch of videos this month, which is Autism Acceptance Month. I wanted to make a bunch of videos for it, but you know, because my phone broke, I couldn't. So that made me very sad, but luckily enough, there's still like a week left, so hopefully I will be able to upload this video before the end of April. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it, but I'm gonna try my best. So yeah, so let's get into the 10 questions that I created for the Autistic Booktuber tag. So the first question is not really a question, it's more like, do you want to like introduce how you got diagnosed, when you got diagnosed, you know, just like general information. If you want to give it, you don't have to, obviously. So I personally got diagnosed when I was 20 years old. I did research for about like 2 years before I went to a place where I could get tested for autism, because I asked for it. Like, it wasn't like someone told me like you should get tested for autism. I was the one who looked into it and was like, I think I have it, I want to be tested for it. And so yeah, I got diagnosed when I was like 20 years old. Okay, so on to the actual questions in this tag. The first question is, who is your favorite autistic author? Which it's very interesting that I ask this question in my own tag, because I actually don't have a favorite autistic author. I don't really have a favorite author in general, really. But yeah, if you do this tag and you actually have a favorite autistic author, I would love to know. The second question is, do you have a favorite autistic character? And again, I don't really have like a favorite character, I would say. I recently did read A Kind of Spark, which has an autistic main character, and I really like her sister, like her sister's character. She's also autistic, and I completely forgot what her name is, but I really liked her character, so I guess that could be like my favorite autistic character. But yeah, on to the third question, which is, which autistic character do you relate to the most? This one would probably be the autistic character in Queens of Geek, which again, I forgot her name because I'm really terrible at names. My memory is really bad when it comes to people's names. But I remember really liking the autistic character in Queens of Geek. I don't know, like she reminded me a lot of me. And I think I read this book like before I got diagnosed. So it just like resonated with me where I was like, oh, I think I really should get tested for this because like I'm relating to this autistic character way too much. Then the fourth question is, do you have a character that you headcanon as autistic? Which headcanon means a character that is not said to be autistic on paper, but you just assume that they are because they have a lot of like traits of autism that you personally relate to, or you just like see it and you think, yeah, that character is definitely autistic coded, which I could make a whole video about characters that I think that are autistic coded, but I'm not gonna start ranting about that now because that's gonna take a long time. But I do have a couple of characters that I can mention. The first one is Alec Lightwood from the Immortal series. Yeah, if you've read the Immortal series and you're autistic, you know why I say that. Like, I remember reading the Immortal series when I was like younger. As I mentioned in my first video, the Immortal series was the first series I ever read in English. And I remember reading like about Alec and just, you know, seeing how he like behaved around people. And I remember just thinking like, wow, he acts a lot like me. And now I look back on that and I'm like, yeah, like you think that he's a lot like you because he's autistic or that you're autistic. Another character from a standalone book this time that I think is like autistic coded is Charlie from The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Yeah, again, his mannerisms are very much autistic coded. And I also, like, again, I've read a lot of like autistic people say that they relate to him a lot, especially like autistic people who have also gone through childhood trauma, like Charlie in the book. The way that he deals with it is very much how a lot of autistic people deal with it. And also, in case you're wondering why I can remember those two names but not the names of anyone else, it's because I wrote them down, but I forgot for Queens of Geek for some reason. So yeah, don't mention it. And like I said already, I can make a whole video about characters that I headcanon as autistic. I now solely said 2 characters from books, but I also have a lot from like manga or anime. I can make a whole video about that if you guys are interested in that for some reason. But yeah, on to the next question. The 5th question is, do you have any book-related comfort items? I think for me, there's mainly Funko Pops, so these things, they're on my bookshelf, and jewelry based on books, which in case you haven't realized it yet, I'm literally like covered in jewelry, so I have quite a lot of that. I don't wear it that often. Everything that I'm wearing right now isn't really like book related. I do have a lot of them, but I don't really wear them a lot because I used to get bullied for wearing them, but then again, I used to get bullied for basically everything. So I don't know why wearing the jewelry is so difficult for me, but it is. So yeah. Then the 6th question is gonna be quite an easy question for autistic booktubers, and that is reading or just books in general a special interest for you? Which for me it is. It has always been. Even when I used to hate reading when I was younger, it's always been like a special interest for me. So yeah, that's an easy question. The 7th question is, who was the first ever autistic character that you encountered in a book? And for me, that is in the book The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. In case you're wondering, it did take me 3 tries to say that name. It's very difficult to pronounce for some reason. But yeah, that was the main character, and that was the first ever autistic character that I encountered in a book. I read this book actually in my native language in high school, I think. I think we had to read it, and yeah, it wasn't a pleasant experience. Both reading it and the class discussion that came afterwards, it was very ableist, everything that was being said, and it wasn't fun. So I would rather not think about it anymore. Then the 8th question is, who are some of your favorite autistic booktubers? Which again, I'm really terrible at remembering names, so I'm just gonna put some on the screen here. While I was making this video, or preparing for it a couple days ago, I did find out that someone else has made an Autistic Booktuber tag, and I asked them if I could make one as well, because I'd been preparing for this for months and I forgot to look up and see if someone had already made one. So I asked them if it would be okay if I also made one, and they said yes. But if you want to check out their Autistic Booktuber tag, you can. Just go to their channel, and I'll also put the link for that video down below. But yeah, if you're an autistic booktuber yourself and you make a video of you doing this tag, I would love to know. Maybe tag me in it, especially on Twitter, because that's where I'm the most likely to see it. So yeah. Then the 9th question is, which book with an autistic character are you looking forward to reading the most? And for me, that is the Brown Sister series. I think that's what it's called, but I'm sure you'll recognize the cover of the first book. It's very popular. I'm really looking forward to these books because they also have chronic illness representation, and as someone who is chronically ill and disabled, I really like reading about it in books. Another book I'm also really looking forward to is The Kiss Quotient, which the plot of that book just seems really interesting, and I can't wait to read it when I eventually am able to buy it. I have a lot more books with autistic characters that I'm really looking forward to, but those are the main ones that I'm really looking forward to, and I'm solely talking about books that I don't own yet. I do own a couple of books with autistic characters, but I'm saving those books for a video. So yeah. And then the 10th question is kind of a very selfish question of me, and it's basically, which book with an autistic character do you recommend to everyone? And that's basically just a question of me asking, please give me recommendations. But I'll also give some recommendations. I already mentioned A Kind of Spark and then Show Us Who You Are. Both of them are by the same author. I haven't read Show Us Who You Are yet, but I'm really excited to. Then also Queens of Geek, obviously. The Nowhere Girls also has an autistic character, which I remember really liking her as well. So yeah, those are some books that I recommend with autistic characters in it. Put your recommendations in the comments down below, or put them in the video if you end up making one. But yeah, that is the end of the tag. There's 10 questions in total. I hope that you guys liked this video, not only the people who are going to actually do this tag, but also the people just watching it. I hope you got some good recommendations from me, and I hope that looking at me doing this video with the rash that's going on my face, I hope it didn't bother anyone too much. But yeah, I'm quite sad that I couldn't do more videos for Autism Acceptance Month, but I will make more videos surrounding autism and books in the future, so I hope that you guys are looking forward to that. This is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, I never know how to end these videos, so bye.